So how about 15 grand for the car? You got a deal.
Hi and welcome to Spacebound, where today we'll be looking at 10 of the most expensive buys in hardcore pawn history. Number 10. $2,800 Gretsch electric guitars.
$3,500 would put our bills intact.
In a very touching episode from Season 8, perfectly titled Seth's Soft Side, we get to see exactly that.
You seem happy.
Thank you.
That'll help you out.
Thank you. That would help us out.
Everybody has bills to pay, and it's sad when you see people fall behind. One such family on Hardcore Pawn fell under and, as a result, brought in a pair of Gretsch electric guitars they received from a close relative. Without even a bit of negotiation, they accepted Seth's offer of $1,800 for the pair. However, it's revealed that later in the episode, after Seth had the guitar's serial number checked, that he mistakenly paid the family too little for the set. In an act of kindness, Seth called the family to have them come back into the shop, where then, after explaining what had happened, happily gives the two another $1,000 for the remaining amount, equaling up to $2,800 in total for the pair of Gretchen.
Whatever it is, I help these two people out.
Number 9. $5,500 chopper. In a Season 4 episode, a man was looking to get a deal for his snazzy-looking chopper, which was originally built and given to him by his brother.
It's a 113 motor.
The motor alone was $7,000.
The 113 motor on this bad boy alone was worth about $7,000, but when it comes to pawn shops, you can always count on the customer being in need of easy money fast.
And then you can get yourself rolling. You can break this chain of bad luck.
Falling under hard times, the seller was looking to get around $10,000 for the bike, but Seth had other plans in mind. At first, unwilling to give up more than $5,000 for the sake of building a profit, the man did eventually manage to persuade Seth into coughing up a modest $5,500 for the beauty.
Yeah. All right, we'll get you written off.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
It's not exactly what our bike owner was hoping for, but let's hope at least it helped him and his family out a little bit for the time being. Number 8. $6,000 storage unit.
Just won this unit in auction the other day.
How much you get it for?
$2,100.
On the rare occasion where a deal happens off the American Jewelry and Loan property, Les and Seth were brought out by their friend Tim to check out a storage unit he had purchased for $2,100.
I saw some boxes filled with some old clothes, a stuffed animal. I don't think I'm going to make an offer on this one.
Rummaging through the piles of garbage, clothes, and furniture, Les eventually finds something to make the trip worthwhile. A limited edition Cope Bronze Eagle statue.
It's probably worth 15 grand.
Only 75 of these special edition eagles were manufactured, and realizing the potential, Les shot out a quick offer of $3,500. It's not so easy though, and Tim knew that if Les is interested, it's gotta be worth something. Going all out, Les manages to talk his friend down to a firm $6,000 deal, which is still an impressive $3,900 turnaround from the storage unit. Plus, Les still has his own opportunity to turn a profit.
Thank you very much.
For coming out.
Appreciate it.
Sure you guys aren't interested in the propeller?
Number 7. $7,000 76 Bricklin. Rolling onto the parking lot in style, our Detroit-based pawnbrokers found themselves in front of a 1976 safety white Bricklin, not to be confused with the more popular DeLorean.
You can go back to the future.
Relatively difficult to come by, there were only ever 17 title Bricklins in the US. And with only 29,500 miles on its life, Les, of course, just had to jump on at the opportunity.
This is one of the coolest cars I've ever seen.
But because of the considerable amount of work that had to be done to the Bricklin, including a repainted body and set of tires along with an entirely new exhaust, the car's value was drastically diminished. So there was no actual purchase made here, but Les and the owner did come down to an agreed loan of $7,000.
This is one of those things I would have loved to have bought for a pawn shop.
And on the off chance that the original owner never paid his dues, technically Les did buy it. Number 6. $8,000 party bus. Originally taking apart a 38-passenger 1989 Neoplan bus and converting it into a full-blown party bus for bachelors, our seller in this situation was looking to sell it off in hopes of upgrading to a larger bus for his limo service company.
Craziest things I've heard about my party bus are lap dances for the drivers as tips.
It's definitely one of the shop's more questionable purchases to come out of the show, but with Ashley and Les on board, figurative and literally, the only thing stopping them from making a deal was the price.
$6 grand ain't gonna buy it.
$6 grand ain't gonna buy it.
$7 grand ain't gonna buy it.
$7 grand ain't gonna buy it.
Les immediately saw an opportunity here when the owner dropped down from $20,500 to $15,000, meaning that he was desperate. In a moment of desperation, after refusing Les's $6,000 and $7,000 offers, the man broke and gave up on the need-to-be sterilized hunk of bolts and metal for $8,000.
$8,000. Bring it. Sign the check. Let's go.
Knew it.
Number 5. $10,000 Burmese ruby.
I have these bag of stones that I found out of my grandmother's house. She just passed not too long ago.
Following the unfortunate death of her grandmother, a woman by the name of Crystal, whom ironically enough brought in a bag full of gems, was looking to get maybe $100 to help pay for funeral expenses. The intrusive Ashley had little hopes in the jewels, believing they were just mere glass costume accessories. But good guy Les, on the other hand, wanted to give Crystal the benefit of the doubt.
What the hell is my dad doing? He's getting this lady's hopes up for nothing.
The shop's gem expert, Bob, was coming in later and had them tested at the risk of missing out on a good opportunity. Lo and behold, Ashley was right, for the most part. Out of the bunch came a unique Burmese ruby valued at, whoa, $10,000. The deal of a lifetime. Naturally, Crystal was ecstatic after leaving the shop with a life-changing amount of cash.
Is that what I think that is?
Absolutely.
Holy.
And as for Ashley, well, let's hope she learned her lesson to not doubt everything and be a little bit more optimistic.
$10,000.
Number 4, $14,500 1941 Chevrolet. In a very early episode of Hardcore Pawn, we see Les purchase a 1941 Chevy for $5,800, which at the time was one of the show's biggest and riskiest buys. Skip forward 3 years later, we're in season 6 now, and the classic car is still just collecting dust and room in the storage warehouse.
So let me tell you the great news. I sold that 41 Chevy.
Challenged by his 2 kids, Seth and Ashley, to finally sell the vehicle as a means of saving face, he does just that and actually earns himself a modest $14,500 for the red buggy.
That's a car that I paid $5,800 for. I got $14,500.
I'm not impressed.
You think that a return rate of nearly 150% that Les's kids would actually be content with the outcome, but guess not. Don't worry though, Les, old buddy. Some of us just wish it were that easy. Number 3, $20,000 Kevorkian van. Definitely one of Hardcore Pawn's more morbid purchases has to be that of Dr. Kevorkian's van.
People from all over the country would come here for physician-assisted suicide.
A forever icon and lasting part of Detroit's history during the early 1990s, Dr. Jack Kevorkian euthanized more than 130 locals in his historic 1968 Volkswagen minibus until selling it to a scrapyard in 1997 for $150.
It's all original to when Jack turned it in.
Les would inevitably become its future owner, purchasing the Deathmobile for a cool $20,000 20-some-odd years ago.
40 or 20. Let's flip a coin. I'll flip for $20,000.
In actuality, the segment in which Les buys the van after winning a $20,000 coin flip in the season 6 episode Les Mojo was all staged as a means of attracting people to the show. The scene was filmed and aired in 2013, and in 2014, Les sold the rust bucket of the minibus to Zach Baggins of Ghost Adventures for an assumed $32,000. Number 2, 40,000 watch bands for a watch. For this purchase, it really depends on how you look at it. Following a series of bad buys from salesman samples of pools to taxidermy, Les's streak would eventually come to an end in the season 7 episode after selling a unique Breitling watch for $42,000 to a trusted friend and collector.
Gary, you got a deal.
Again, it depends on how you look at the situation, because rather than receiving a traditional cash payment, American Jewelry and Loan were sent 130 cases full of watch bands, about 40,000 to be exact.
You mother...
The following episodes more or less follow Les as he tried to make things right, eventually offering the bands at $2 a piece.
And this prick me with these watch bands.
If that were the case, then realistically, they would have doubled what Breitling watch was worth. As it would turn out though, Seth revealed on Facebook how Les managed to just break even on how many watch bands he sold to a wholesaler, with a few autographed versions being sold on the business's website, so to say Hardcore Pawn got their money's worth in the end. And finally, number 1, $67,000 Ford Mustang. The series' biggest exchange comes from the premiere episode of Season 4 when a couple tows in their extraordinarily rare 2009 Lee Iacocca Ford Mustang.
Lee Iacocca Mustang. 1 out of 45.
You can't find these Mustangs anywhere.
As a way of celebrating Ford's 45th anniversary since first introducing the Mustang, only 45 Lees were ever manufactured. With that in mind, the gang at American Jewelry and Loan knew they had to strike a deal. And after some hard negotiating, they do just that. On the low end, a limited edition Lakota Mustang could reach about $80,000, but Les and Seth's expert skills managed to bring the price down to a cool $67,000. Not a bad day's work.
The deal's done. This is the most amazing car I've ever seen.
And with that being said, that concludes what are 10 of the most expensive buys to come out of Hardcore Pawn. Feel free to comment down below on what you thought about today's video, and maybe leave a like if you've enjoyed. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to